Believe it or not, I was planning on making a video about the Final Fantasy IX remake this week, but it seems like the stars have aligned and we have a little bit of news to talk about. But before we dive into that news, even though this comes from a reliable source, this is still speculative because it has not come from Square Enix themselves. So let's bear that in mind while we go crazy in the comments and while I go a little bit crazy in this video. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Consider supporting the channel and smashing that thumbs up button. Final Fantasy IX remake. Before I dive into what I really wanted to talk about this week, let's talk about this news. Now we're going to be going over to Twitter here and we're going to be looking at user Midori, who has been well known in the gaming space as a reliable leaker in the Atlas Sega space, and has also kind of dove into a little bit of Nintendo and now Square Enix. Now this Final Fantasy IX remake news stemmed from a tweet talking about Team Asano doing development research on an XR title for Square Enix. XR being extended reality, and that falls under the space of like augmented reality. Could we be getting a HD 2D title in this realm? Who knows? But as the replies came in, somebody asked if there were any remakes coming from Square Enix. Midori replied yes, but there is not a Final Fantasy X remake title in development, absolutely smashing the rumours of them being one out of the water, because we did hear that a couple of months ago that Final Fantasy X would be getting a remake. But I am in the boat of Final Fantasy X is fine where it is. I just wish we could fix those damn HD face textures and would be all gravy, baby. Anyway, the replies continued to come in and somebody asked, what about the Final Fantasy IX remake? Is it still real? And Midori simply replied, this is correct information. That line is enough to make a video right now, and that is what we are rolling with, because the track record of Midori has been unprecedented in the gaming space, and the rumblings of a Final Fantasy IX remake has been going off for quite a few years. We had the Nvidia leak alongside Final Fantasy Tactics and Kingdom Hearts 4, along with some other Square Enix titles that have come into fruition. We then got the rumblings of a TV series for Final Fantasy IX that had a behind closed door session at some convention, but we didn't get any kind of sneak peek and it has not been spoken about since. We have had credible insiders in the gaming space talk about that it is a thing, but then it was all halted because of the shenanigans that have been going on with Square Enix cancelling projects, a lot of projects, a few projects, big budget projects, lots of small budget projects, we don't actually know. But I was pretty confident that Final Fantasy IX remake, if it was one of these projects, would not be one that gets cancelled. And now here we are, right before the month of June, the month that is known for big game announcements and surprises. Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth are now behind us. It is time to look forward. What are the heavy hitters that we are going to get until at least Remake Part 3? Well, we know that Kingdom Hearts 4 is most definitely going to be one. But what else could they throw at us? We are getting Visions of Mana, which should be coming out in the next few months. But when it comes to the big hitters, of course, we're getting Dragon Quest 12 and maybe the potential of Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. But then that leaves, what could we be getting from Final Fantasy? It's got to be Final Fantasy IX. It really is. And I am at the point where I truly believe this, and I think we're gonna hear something pretty damn soon. Yes, I'm a little bit of a fanboy, and yes, I'm a teensy bit excited, but let's just roll with it, shall we? So, what could this remake potentially look like? Well, I don't think it's going to be on par from what we've got from the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. No, not at all. I don't think it suits the premise of Final Fantasy IX. I truly believe, and I've said this before and I will say it again, the Final Fantasy IX Remake will take the same approach as Trials of Mana. That art style, that kind of budget, that kind of remade orchestrated music, and still sticking to the classic ATB turn-based system and leaving all the systems that Final Fantasy IX is known for in place. It's kind of going to be like a remake, but not a, whoa, it's a remake. More along the lines of what we've seen from fan projects like the Memoria project, and maybe on par with what the Dissidia NT models are of Zidane, if we were to try and look at something that is out there officially. And for those that are asking about, oh man, what about Tetramaster, the greatest card game in Final Fantasy history? This is still going to be there, but I think this is going to be reworked slightly so it's not so RNG, and that they're going to hit gold with Tetramaster finally. It could become part of the upper echelon of Square Enix card games. But that's just me going on just a little bit. There are so many things to look forward to. Will it have voice acting? I think it will, but I don't think it'll be fully voice acted. I think it'll just be main cutscenes. NPC dialogue will probably be like text and everything else in between. I could go on, and I'm getting things coming up to my head right now as I'm talking to you right now of what I want it to be and what I think it will be. But I don't want to bore you or keep you too long. I just think this is going to be a very faithful remake. It's going to feel so damn Final Fantasy like it did when we first played it. Well, for me, it was my third Final Fantasy, so it didn't really feel like Final Fantasy's past, because the two I played beforehand were quite modernized and not like the classics before it. But now that I've played the classics and I go to 9, and I know that 9's a love story to the classics, it's going to be something that comes full circle. And I really think, as a wild card here, that Hironobu Sakaguchi has going to have a bit of a hand in this project. I really do. And that is, again, a very big wild card. But we know that it's his baby before he left Square. And, you know, getting him on that project will solidify it and just boost the hype, especially for Final Fantasy fans, and it will give us something to tout out about to people that have not played Final Fantasy, that if you want to feel the embodiment of Final Fantasy and you don't mind playing a turn-based game, which will be modernized, it probably have fast forward, not a slow intro like the camera angle of the original, and just everything that's a bit more ease of access, this is probably the one you'll want to dive into. But that's just me. That is just me, and I'm very interested to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I really appreciate your time listening to me just kind of gush about Final Fantasy IX, because I am excited, and I'm letting that excitement drive me to really, really believe this is real and we're going to see it very, very soon. Please consider subscribing if you want to see more Square Enix and Final Fantasy content. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the notification bell so you're notified of that content as well. Get involved in the comments, and until next time, I will catch you on the flip side.